Fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe have waited a very long time to witness their favorite heroes in action against one another, and now the day has finally come to where Captain America Civil War is now in theaters. Welcome, comic book fans, to my official Captain America Civil War spoiler movie review. This is part 2 of both my spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review. In case you guys don't want to be spoiled by the events of this video, simply tune out and check out my spoiler-free review in order to further your curiosity on the film. So now, with that being said, now that you guys have been warned, let's begin. Now, quite simply put, this was the most action-packed Marvel Cinematic movie, I believe, to ever debut. From battles that waged on rooftops, to stairway battles, all the way to the epic airport battle with Vision smashing through buses, Spider-Man web-slinging, kicking all sorts of asses, and the double team witnessed by Winter Soldier and Captain America on Iron Man. I will go on record and say that Black Panther was the most impressive character among everyone during this film, displaying raw power and amazing skills, allowing him to hold his own not just against Winter Soldier, but against Hawkeye's arrows, especially when Hawkeye fired those arrows directly in Panther's face and they blew up, leaving him without a scratch. Captain America and Ant-Man, Falcon and Spider-Man were also a very good pair-up as well, and so we are following the events of Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron in this film, and it's more likely that this conflict will, resolve itself down the road in Infinity Wars for sure, especially now with everyone gearing up to battle the mighty Titan Thanos. Now, realistically speaking, the most powerful character on both teams would have to be the Vision, right? Due to, of course, one of the Infinity Gems being in his possession, but Scarlett Witch, which again I will say was, one of my favorite scenes in and of itself, was able to hold her own against Vision, even bring him down to his knees at certain points, despite how powerful he was. So they definitely evened out everything, especially if you're wondering about Vision's powers being overpowered and whatnot, especially his feats in this movie. His feats were displayed, but I would have to say that he was evenly matched with Scarlet Witch, only because she was able to compete with him on an even level. So it's one side versus another: government Overwatch led by the United Nations, which is Iron Man, or freedom of governed organizations in Overwatch, which is Captain America. But also keep in mind that just because this was a one side versus another kind of battle doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't any tension between the parties in and of itself within the actual groups, having Winter Soldier fight Captain America once again in this film. Now, the airport battle with Ant-Man knocking Captain America's shield out of Spider-Man's hand, Captain breaking loose of Spidey's web cups, all amazing shots. The part where they all charged each other honestly gave me a boner unlike any other, and I mean, it was epic to a high degree. So, and speaking of Spider-Man, there was a scene where Spider-Man throws down with Captain and manages to not only throw Captain off his game with some really sick spider shots, but was also able to get the best of Captain as well, which of course all happened at the airport, with of course Spider-Man adding insult to injury by telling Captain America that Tony Stark had told him to specifically go for Captain's legs. But not only that, Spider-Man was actually able to get the best of Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as he took him on 2-on-1, which further proved why Marvel was able to portray Spider-Man much better than Sony did. Sorry, Sony. Now, the movie was a roller coaster from start to finish, in my opinion. The action scenes were, and just the pairing off of characters were amazing. Everything throughout the duration of this film was great. The movie is about 2.5 hours long. Some people were complaining about that, but nevertheless, the entirety of the story was just absolutely amazing. I would have to say, in my opinion, just slightly better than Winter Soldier's story, only because we get to see character development going on with virtually every single character. And again, I will say Marvel did Spider-Man better, and Black Panther was absolutely amazing. The way this dude was in combat, the way he fought off Winter Soldier, the way he fought off Captain America, the way he was fighting everyone off, the way he took Hawkeye's arrows, this dude is a beast, and I cannot wait to see him fight Thanos, because again, Thanos is going to be a big problem for everybody. And in case you guys are wondering if Thanos is going to be a flat-like villain, he will not. The Russo brothers have stated that Thanos is going to be very, 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 very dangerous and very ruthless, and of course, being unlike Loki and Ultron, this dude just might kill a couple people in this next movie. So who knows what's gonna happen, but in this particular film, guys, the action scenes are what made this film, alongside the story as well. But the action scenes in this film, I would have to go on record and say that were a lot better than Batman v Superman, because everyone is comparing this to Batman v Superman only because DC versus Marvel, Batman v Superman versus Captain America, you guys know how it is. So but it doesn't really boil down to that. It just boils down to the fact that Marvel executed everything much better than DC did with Batman v Superman, and you get to see that once you see all the characters fight it off during the airport scene in the movie, which again, I'll just go on record and say that was the most impressive battle that I have personally seen within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it all led towards an emotional ending with Captain America battling Iron Man, and it all started from this, one crazy Russian-German scientist who lost a bunch of people over in Sokovia, the events events of the Avengers 2 actually, and so he wanted to turn the Avengers against each other, so he ended up framing Winter Soldier for doing all these things, the UN bombing, countless murders, him being framed for so much, and we get to see a lot of development go on as Tony Stark and Steve Rogers duke it out, because they both have representations as to why they're fighting. And towards the end, we get to see Iron Man. He's in a very emotional state. You have to think about that, right? You're working with someone who is, supposedly supposed to be your friend, which is Captain America, and you just came to figure out that, your friend's best friend was the one responsible for killing your parents, and Tony Stark didn't really take that too lightly, and he ended up attacking both Winter Soldier and Captain America, especially Winter Soldier. It just seems like everyone was after Winter Soldier in this film, particularly Black Panther and Iron Man, because Black Panther had this impression that Winter Soldier was the one that killed his father during one of the UN Senate's bombings, in which resulted in his father dying right then and there before his very eyes. And so there was a news article in a news leak coming out that it was reported that Winter Soldier was there, and we see a picture of him, but in fact it was all framed. Winter Soldier was being mind controlled yet again, and so we get to see a lot of events transpire with Winter Soldier. And towards the end, he loses his arm, and he ends up getting frozen in a cryogenic state where, Tony Stark is there overlooking everything. He was with Vision, he was with a few other people, and we get to see Captain America with Black Panther and stuff, and they're over, in seclusion trying to get away from all of this, and everything is definitely going to pick up in the coming movies with Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the new Spider-Man film, and every single character, I believe, was executed very well, and the overall aspect of the movie definitely told the story that needed to be told. But what are your overall thoughts on this movie, guys? Did you guys enjoy the movie? Did you guys hate the movie? What are your overall comparisons to this as opposed to, Age of Ultron, Winter Soldier, and even if you want to make comparisons to Batman v Superman, what are your overall thoughts on that? I'm very curious to know your overall, thoughts and ideas as to how you guys felt about this film. Once again, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are fans, don't forget to subscribe. That way you guys don't miss a single episode or a single update for MCU. If you guys enjoyed the review, don't forget to smash that like button, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Tune in for more, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next episode. I truly hope you guys go ahead and check out this movie. This movie was phenomenal, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be seeing you all later. Peace.